Welcome to the Grappling Grappling Rewind Podcast.
Welcome to this week on the Grappling Rewind Podcast. On this week's show, we're going to recap GrappleFest 19, headlined by Adele Fornarino and taking the under 65 kilogram championship.
Spoilers.
And that's it. So it's a quick show this week. We have a couple of matches,
And we're done.
Talk about on GrappleFest.
This happened. End of show, guys.
Pretty much. As always on the show, I'm your host, Maine, our co-host,
Josh.
How you doing, Josh?
Good.
We just got some training in. Apologize if my voice is hoarse. I spent the entire day at University of Maryland coaching the Hopkins Club and the Towson Club, so I got to yell at college students for 6 hours and coach. Great day. I had a great time. Saw some very fun collegiate jiu-jitsu from all sides. Huge turnout this year for that event, so that was great. But again, this show's going to be a little shorter because I do not think I have 60 minutes or 85 minutes of voice. So,
everybody breathes a sigh of relief.
Hey. So, before we get into that, a little bit of news. We had a huge announcement for One Championship. We have Marcelo Garcia returning to One Championship and taking on Lachlan Giles.
Good job. You didn't mess it up.
I called it like 3 times on the pre-show. I was like, Imanari, and Josh was like, this match has already happened. So, Imanari versus...
And there we go again.
Marcelo versus Lachlan. So it's really interesting. I need to go back and look at. When I interviewed Lachlan Giles in 2019 for ADCC, super awesome to get a chance to interview him like after that Absolute run where he placed third in Absolute. In the interview, I bobble, like I looked at everyone's records. I knew everything going in. And I was like, oh, you're the best guy. You know, this is the best guy at 77 has ever done an Absolute. And then he goes, well, Marcelo. And I went, cool, I'm in the middle of this interview and I have just like embarrassed myself forgetting about Marcelo. And it is interesting that he talked kind of very briefly about Marcelo, and off camera, there's a little bit of discussion about Marcelo that we had that wasn't as part of the recording. So it is cool because Lachlan had obviously like studied Marcelo, knowing him, his ADCC run. It is cool to now see this match being made in One Championship so many years later.
Sure, yeah.
It's also cool to see Lachlan come out of retirement for this match. Kind of much like Imanari came out of... Marcelo came out of retirement after 13 years. Lachlan's been retired since what? The ADCC that he got K'd first round, and then he got Yuri was it 22?
22,
because 19... And we had the gap year, so 22.
21.
And 22, he had K'd the first round.
Yeah,
and then he finally takes the title from Aoki for the most unlucky round in first round. Because Shinya Aoki also got...
I don't know about that.
So Shinya Aoki in ADCC gets his division winner first round, absolute winner second round. Lachlan has now done the same thing. He got K'd and he got Yuri back-to-back first round in absolute and division.
Yeah, but you got Yuri, and then Did he go against... It was Hodger, right?
It was Hodger, I think, is who Aoki got.
Was it Jacare?
I think it was
so
Hodger that year.
Yeah, either way, like, I'd rather run into Yuri than Hodger. Forget that.
Well, that's reasonable. What I'm saying, like, as unlucky as bracketing go, you're running into the champion first round in absolute and in your division. Like, the likelihood of that happening is astronomical. And now it's happened to 2 guys, Lachlan being one of them. So I'm amped for this. I'm super excited. We're going to break this down. Probably going to spend legitimately an entire episode breaking this one down. Again, Lachlan's been retired for 3+ years now, going on 4 years almost now. And Marcelo's unretired for a year. He's had the one match. There's still a lot of X factors in this, but it's a match that I'm really genuinely excited to see. It is finally, again, some parity with age, so it's not, you're not throwing in your 19 guy versus Marcelo or Lachlan. It makes a lot of sense.
The internet will explode.
Yeah,
if Lachlan wins. Not saying that he can't, but the internet will fucking explode.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I'm super amped and super jazzed for it personally.
It's
get a little closer.
So never. I will always stay very far away from the microphone.
I have to fix the audio every single week for the last 8 years you and I have been doing the show.
Absolutely.
9 years.
I expect Marcelo to win.
I think the not good money, like the straight money is on Marcelo.
That's a safe bet.
Safe bet. That's a better way to put that.
That's a safe bet. But I'm very interested to see how Lachlan approaches the match and how comfortable Marcelo is with like legit leg entanglements. Not
like a more modern guy.
more
that's
modern guy
really
than
gonna,
Imanari.
Yeah.
Imanari, I don't think had like anything where he
He
could
also didn't
start
really
off.
have a shot into it. Marcelo really never gave him a shot to even get
No,
into
no,
the
no,
legs there. Lachlan, I think, is going to try to take it into the legs, most likely.
I'm interested to see Lachlan's guard versus Marcelo's passing,
Yeah.
and that I believe would open up the legs if it does happen.
Again, stylistic, I'm really interested in
I'm
that.
very interested in it. Again, I'm going to go with my safe bet of picking Marcelo.
Yeah.
By either arm triangle or rear naked choke.
I think those are.
I think those are.
I think Marcelo likes to go choke nowadays.
I don't think, unless Marcelo purposely accepts a sweep because he feels like he can grab the guillotine. But I don't think Lachlan would put his head in those because
Lachlan's a really diligent player with head position.
Yeah.
He talks about it.
So I feel like Marcelo is actually going to be the top player and is going to be passing more. And I'm really interested to see like the K guard action from Lachlan and how, if he can elevate the legs up enough to start any of that work, and see if he actually gets there, how Marcelo does in these newer leg entanglements.
Yeah, it is so interesting because Marcelo has been, again, we talk about him being retired. Like he was retired for 13 years, like a really long time.
Yeah, for sure.
And then came back. We know he was still coaching,
Training
teaching,
and
still,
dealing with that stuff.
He wasn't
Like-
out of the sport, but we just don't have as much information on like what the competitive aspect inside of his game looked like, and how much he developed the game in that area in those 13 years. Because we have like gym rounds, but we don't have what he looked like in competition for the last decade and a half when it involves the entire revolution of the new leg locks that kind of came through.
I'm sure he was aware of the match before it got announced. So I'm sure there are tons of people like, okay, let's go down.
Here's what he does.
Let's go down this rabbit hole of what he does. Let's maybe bring in some guys that can give you good looks on your legs. Like, let's specifically put you in the bad positions.
Hey, look up ADCC 2019. Absolute, yeah. What he did, all those guys, that's what we want to avoid. We want to avoid that.
Well, yes, but like you're gonna really start throwing up single leg X on a guy that made single leg X.
I would love to see it.
Yeah,
I would. I mean, I genuinely like. This is why this match is so exciting to me, because
he has the ability to deconstruct that entire position.
Yeah.
Like atomically.
But Lachlan also has, I'm not going to term like that new shit. Like
He does,
just has,
or switching to the 50-50 or switching
Yeah.
like to the flow all the way through into like that leg reap position. So there's a lot of X factors. And I mean,
where do both guys want to have the match?
The actual reason why we started this podcast was because of Craig Jones and 2017 ADCC and what he beat all those people. And we were like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And
He was this Australian leg locker, and then was training with Lachlan, who also won trials that year.
And also like expanded the game more, like going with Danaher and all those guys. So it will be interesting. It will also be interesting to see if like Craig is helping Lachlan.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't really know. At least I have not kept up with exactly what Craig is doing. It seems like he's going to focus on his health and his like.
He's going to do
himself.
Craig. Good for him.
But I'm really curious if Lachlan would like call up Craig and Craig would go back and like help Lachlan for a camp. He seems to really enjoy helping out the Australian fighters, New Zealand fighters.
For sure.
And so, I mean, it makes sense. It wouldn't surprise me to have Craig back in the room, helping Lachlan for a camp like ye olden days.
They just need to find like a stocky legged grappler that's good with the legs. Cause like Craig, I feel like gets away with some shit just because of his build.
He has a wild build that is just.
I think it's great. I'm like his build is
fun
like
to watch.
that's the perfect jiu-jitsu build. If you've got long limbs,
Yeah,
you've got the perfect
I'm not
jiu-jitsu
sure.
build.
I'm not sure who they would bring that would be like from either a game perspective or from a specific like body style perspective. who you could possibly bring. Because Craig like has the knowledge and has information, but doesn't really have any sort of parity when it comes to the build.
And it might just be like
Dale. Get Dale.
Maybe
Bigger, like much bigger.
Yeah, stockier.
In a very different style. Maybe that'd be a bad example. Like a very different style passer. But
who knows?
It's just a really interesting. These are the kind of Legends matchups that I'm really excited One Championship is making.
This has me more excited than Marcelo's return match. Like
Yeah,
they were like,
absolutely.
"Oh, it's versus Imanari," and I was like,
I like
don't-
Imanari. He's one of my favorite guys. But it was very much a match to kind of, I think, on-ramp Marcelo back into, hey, man, you've been gone for a decade plus. Let's get you Imanari, a guy that's also a legend, that's from your same era, but probably
you're gonna run him over.
Probably know what he's going to bring to the table and deal with. Lachlan is, again, similar era, but way more modern I mean, not quite similar era, like similar age range is what I mean, not era.
Dude, Imanari is in his mid to late 40s,
Okay,
isn't he?
you're not going on with me being wrong repeatedly.
I'm going to. I always do.
You always have, so I appreciate.
No, I mean this is actually. I immediately Maine posted in the group chat. I went, Marcelo takes it. That was me. But I'm also interested to see the actual match, like as opposed to when again whoever one of us posted it in the chat. It was like Marcelo's coming back versus Imanari, and I was like, what a waste of a match. Those are my exact words. It's like, what a waste of a match. It's like Marcelo's going to just run over him, and that's that. And that's exactly what happened. And it's not any offense to Imanari. It's just like, dog, there's levels. And Marcelo, even being gone for a decade and a half, like, Marcelo is that guy.
Marcelo is Marcelo. So.
And I don't know if Marcelo's pressure has changed. Because of what he went through and everything like that. Does he still have that same terrible pressure? Like, that dude just goes. He's like, I remember being a purple belt and being like, oh, what's it like rolling with Marcelo Garcia, and going up there and I'm like, oh, he just does whatever the hell he wants to. And it's like, you
those
can't
old
stop
MG
it.
in action videos.
And then he's just like,
those.
and I'm like, I hate everything about this. I mean, I was smiling the whole time, but I was like, this is awful.
Yeah. So again, I'm really excited for it. I like that I think it's a well match. It's a good matchup. Lachlan has avenues for victory here. Marcelo has avenues for victory here, which again is good matchmaking. I'm happy because there's a very short list of guys that I'm even interested in seeing Marcelo against. Lachlan was one of the guys on that short list, but he was retired as well. And so I like that they've given him enough money to be able to come out of retirement for a match that was genuinely on our short list of matches, because it ticks so many of the boxes for interesting matchmaking, era, stylistically. I'm very, very excited. I really hope that this match doesn't get pushed and happens.
Get me Marcelo versus Moneyberg.
If we stop talking about him, he goes away.
Yeah, unfortunately, probably won't. But yeah.
So let's talk about GrappleFest 19. Anything else on Imanari? Fuck me. Marcelo versus Lachlan, Giles, Josh.
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. I mean, that might be one of the cards actually get people over at the house to watch, because I've been talking about doing that more and more. This space is more built out now. I'm like,
I would not want to be in this room with all of us.
It would be warm.
It would be warm
It
and
would be
uncomfortable. There's a tiny couch. There's only a couple of
bigger couch yet.
chairs. No, we just watch it upstairs.
We could watch it upstairs on the comfy couch.
Sit with Bobby Wasabi.
Yeah, the great dog. I love that dog. So, GrappleFest 19 happened this weekend.
It did.
Headlined by Adele Fornarino versus Julia Maele for the women's under 65 kilogram championship.
Which, spoiler, she won. We already found that out.
She did win.
Pretty quickly.
This was not a weird match. This is a match sort of almost as we expected. Where we expected when we previewed it, it was like Adele was probably either going to go into the legs, or is going to look for a topside arm lock from guard or an armbar from guard. Very slow action in the match. And then we were tabbing back and forth.
Very, very slow action. The match was 3 minutes long.
And 2 minutes and 30 seconds of that match.
2 minutes and 45 seconds was her trying to pull from half guard. And then she went, okay, I'm going to pick this up. And she did. And then
she just grabbed the leg.
That's mine.
Went over and high hipped it and belly down.
and it was a quick tap.
That was it. That was the entire match.
Right.
That was her winning. It was an ankle lock. We know she has dope leg locks. It was a wildly quick and aggressive leg lock.
My response right afterwards was, I am very interested to see how this feels. Like, I'd be like, take my leg and leg lock me.
We all keep talking about that because we have all the Polish leg lockers now, and like the Wodes, we have people now that have unique enough leg locks. And I brought you up when we talked about Mikey's finish for the Mikey lock because you had workshopped that. And on the UFC last week, we talked about the angle that we had. You can really see that it's not a lateral knee bar. It's kind of that own foot position. And you did it to me the first time, and I went, oh, I don't like how that feels at all. This and the way that Mateusz Szczecinski does it and the way that Paweł Jaworski does it, the way that Adele does it, Chris Wojcik with the Woj lock, the sock lock. I want to feel those because I bet it has that same feeling the first time that you did a Mikey lock to me where I'm like, oh, I immediately in my bones don't like how this feels because the interesting thing about these, usually with high-level competition, especially when it comes to ankle locks, there is a fight through. It's a fight through. There's time, you boot it, and eventually when the leg's about to break, you get a tap. But there's a time. You kind of wait. You got to crank in it for a while.
Unless you're a meow.
What?
Unless you're a meow.
Well, that doesn't count. Mounting out. We talked about this years ago.
Have you seen the recent photos of him moving his ankles around? And they're just
the recent ones or the old ones?
No, the most recent one.
I haven't seen the most
hey,
recent
check
ones.
this out. And it's just horrific.
Just
how
bones on bones with
gross
no
his
ligaments.
ankles are.
Yeah. But when Adele, Jaworski, Szczecinski grab your leg, people tap weirdly quickly to that, and it is very interesting because usually in high-level competition, if you can eat it, you'll eat it. No one is eating it. They're just tapping quickly, and I'm just so curious exactly what you said. How does that feel?
Do that to me, please.
Because it must be horrendous. And again, it brings me back to the time that Demetrius Johnson was talking about. I want to get kicked by Crow Cop because it can't be worse than that. It was this is kind of what I feel like. I bet Adele leg locking you, especially for someone close to my size, it's probably can't get much worse than that, given how quickly Maele taps. It is Maele. There's no defense out. There's a immediate a rise up to try to move.
Thank you.
And then it's cool. That is gonna break my foot and leg. I tap.
Yeah. Yeah. Footlock me. I just want to feel. It was my weird obsession when Huzamar Palhares was really coming out and eating people's legs and doing ADCC and not understanding the word stop. I was like, I wonder what that feels like. I'd be interested, but I also don't want my leg to explode.
I don't want him to explode my leg because he will happily
he will confusedly be like, what did I do wrong?
He will go, do you want me to break it?
As my foot is facing towards my eyeball. Backwards.
Man, he had some cool runs. As much as it was horrific, he had some cool runs in ADCC. If you go back and watch his old runs in ADCC, the one, it was nifty. He had some neato stuff.
Yeah. Galval was even this guy is terrifying.
Yeah. They fought in Super Fight, didn't they?
Was that no? It was Division. I think that was the first year that Andre won because the year before
I think.
he lost to Braulio. At 88, yeah. He lost at 88, and then he won the following year.
Yeah. So that's all we got for Adele. Again, it was a very short finishing sequence.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about some of the inactivity of Adele before with kind of the losses to Cravar, the losses to Fionn. We saw a little bit of that early, but again, she's able to get it. I don't really know who's next for Adele here, but again, I hope GrappleFest brings her back sooner than later because I like to see her compete. I like talking about her matches.
Like to see the Cravar rematch in a different setting, just one block of time.
Not 3 rounds.
Not 3 rounds.
Yeah.
And I'd like for her to be more active.
I want to see it in an ADCC style.
Yeah, that would work.
Where I think
too.
it's you have one block, but there's a no points. It gives you the ability to kind of do everything.
Yeah.
I would like to see it in something like that because I think a no points one kind of it makes it weirdly like subjective in a way that a points system will usually give you. I like the criteria better.
Sure.
So that would be fun. Yeah, the Cravar match would be fun, especially again under 65. Cravar can make under 65, so potentially we could see it here too. Again, I would love that, but I think Cravar right now is in an exclusive European contract with Polaris, so we wouldn't be able to see that right now.
Wait, I thought she signed
With one
as well.
Yeah, but I think those are not mutually exclusive. But I don't
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I just don't know. The contracts used to be one way a couple of years ago when we had some more insight kind of behind the curtain for some of it. We have less insight now, and the contracts
Sure.
are different than they were. So who knows? But that's all I got on Adele. Cool to see her take that title with that nifty, horrific ankle lock. Moving on, Michael Pixley defeats Jean Maltese via decision. It kind of looked like a Pixley match.
Run around the guard, try to pass.
Good.
Try to get to the front headlock. Try to
Yep.
do like that pinch, that front headlock pinch off to the side, and try to get him to turn over to set up your Darce.
Yes.
Um,
That's
he had an opportunity for Peruvian, but didn't really get the legs
he
over.
like jumps it for a split second.
And just kind of fell to the side, and maybe he uses that as a setup again for the Darce because he does that.
Yeah,
Darce
he
a lot.
does. He does. It was just a weirdly kind of an inactive. Not it was the regular amount of activity that we have in a Pixley match, but I'm always a little bit disappointed with the level of activity in the Pixley match and how long he spends outside of the guard. He does a nice like a deadlift pass, big double under pass all the way over and kind of flips Jean Maltese up completely, but overall, he just spends a lot of time only willing to outside pass. Getting past a couple of times, it is effective, but he has such a limited range and area that he wants to work in. If he can't get something going that he wants in that range working, he constantly has to fight back through that range, and the matches are starting to look a little bit kind of samey, with a finish not being as frequent as it used to be, as he kind of has gone up in level, unfortunately. So, again, he wins it. It's again, a very clear win. He has almost all of the offense in the entirety of the match. It's a very clear, unanimous decision win. It's just we're seeing kind of the same problems that we've seen in Pixley's game where the scope of his passing and the area that he wants to operate in is now such a known quantity. He is now becoming a game plan problem. And at the higher levels, I am curious. I think more and more camps will be able to game plan for that effectively. Hey, he's really dangerous here. If you stay diligent here and here and here, he's only going to want to fight you in these areas. When we've really hammered on these areas, he becomes more of a game plan problem. And so it's like almost like an Oliver Taza, where it's like Oliver Taza wants to fight you here, here, and here. If you can be diligent in these ranges, you're going to pull him into kind of secondary games that he doesn't really want to be in. And I think we're seeing a similar thing happen with Pixley, unfortunately. Anything else on this one?
Nope.
Moving on, we had Max Hansen versus Shawnee Stewart. This one of all the matches we're going to cover here, I think, was the one that I enjoyed the most. We watched this all the way through, again, on the pre-show. This was fun. On the commentary, they brought up, they walked Max Hansen out, gave his credentials. They walked Shawnee Stewart out, gave his credentials.
And Hansen immediately started attacking.
Well,
it gets better because
okay.
it goes into it. Like he starts attacking immediately, is immediately on the neck trying to look for the Darce. As he starts looking for the Darce, the announcers are like, he's really hard to finish. And then he locked up the Darce, and they're like, but he's really hard to finish. And while we were watching it, I was like, oh, he doesn't have it. And Ming goes, what do you mean? And I was like, watch. And he just
So he's talking about the Darce, the initial Darce of Max Hansen. And so, to me, my Darce game is poor. It is probably one of the worst major submissions in my game by a pretty... I'm just bad,
Short
man.
arms.
I want a guillotine, guys.
Short
and I built my
arms.
entire game around never having the arm in the way for only like the high elbow guillotine. My entire game is built on that. The Darce is something at black belt I've been really hammering, trying to get improved. And so we were watching it over again. And it was very nice to have the insight, because you actually are not terrible with the Darce.
I am terrible at the Darce because
But you
I
understand
don't do
the
it.
mechanics of it. Like I struggle with the mechanics of the Darce.
If you're a tiny person, I'll do it to you. But if you're not, I can't. Yeah, no, but like there were a whole lot of opportunities where like Hansen's throwing across and you hear commentary go, it's locked in. And immediately after they go, it's locked in, I go, no, it's not. He's about to get out. And you saw like as Shawnee was reaching through, you saw points where Hansen's arm was in the armpit instead of like the hand was in the armpit. It was just in not the finishing position wasn't there. And then when Shawnee like rotated, you could see that he was not punching, but like dropping the arm down to create that space. So he was upside down and you're like, oh, he's got all the space in the world. And then he turned through and came in. And that was just one of the many times he was like, nope, I'm not letting this happen. So, and another cool sequence that I know you're about to bring up.
Well, no, I was going to bring up the commentary thing. Which
okay.
Typically when on commentary, when you have a match like Max Hansen, a very known quantity, tons of credentials, every single regional title ever, a bunch of IBJJF titles now at this point.
Yeah.
Nogi World title, I think, as well. I think
Possibly,
so.
yes.
I think so last year. And whenever they bring up like the opponent for that guy, and they go, oh, it's really hard to finish. That is a very nice way of going like, oh, he's crafty, but like you're looking for something to say.
He's not that good. He's not on that level.
That's usually what that leads into. And they said it here, and I went, okay, this is the kind of match we're going to get into. And then Shawnee Stewart, the entirety, makes it to the end, and Max Hansen is just chucking sub after sequence after sequence. And Josh and I are watching this again and going like, damn, he really is very, very difficult to sub.
Stubborn.
He's stubborn. He had good defense. He had consistent defense. He never, no point in this match, Max Hansen is just cycling through, like, what can I throw with this guy?
That, like, partially locked up rear naked choke. Like,
mostly locked up. But
partially.
And Shawnee Stewart never does the thing where he's just statically fighting and holding. He's always kind of moving. What we see, like, J-Rod and Nick Rodriguez, they are never fighting something from a static position. They are always moving, and you'll be surprised. And if you watch the super high-level guys or the guys like Shawnee Stewart that have very, very good defense and are very hard to put away, they are almost never fighting a sub from a static position and kind of like trying to roll. They are always moving wherever it's shoulders or hips or legs. There's always some level of movement. And Shawnee Stewart, the entire time is doing that. And so you're going to go through a couple more sequences.
Well, yeah, that was the other thing is Maine was like, I've never seen that defense.
Oh, on the rear naked choke.
Puts up his arm like he's raising his hand almost.
He was like elbow up. I think it was where he was.
No, like the whole arm was up.
I thought it was elbow trap.
Like,
okay.
It might have been. His arm was up in the air, but Max was trying to lock in the rear naked choke. And he's trying to punch it behind the head. But what he was doing with that arm was just keeping the elbow up too high and away to get behind his head.
So basically, Max Hansen can't fully drive the hand behind Shawnee's head because Shawnee's elbow or shoulder and like is really lifting at the elbow of Max Hansen
and creating
so
space.
That he can't make that drive across. And I watched that. I went, I don't know if I have ever seen. And Josh, like I think you haven't seen it in a while, but thinking back, I'm trying to think of another match where I've seen at least the way that Shawnee Stewart here was doing it. I was like, I don't think I've ever seen a guy do that. And to his credit, it works. Max Hansen can't lock up the renegade choke, which he's under. Max Hansen has been fighting
with
for
the
hooks.
one with the choking arm. Yes.
Yeah, it's under, and it's above the shoulder. Like it's where you would expect. Like, okay, Max Hansen's gonna finish this, and then Stewart gets out again, and I went, damn, commentary was true. He is weirdly hard to submit.
Another thing that like I noticed was Max is very like technically savvy. He won't just like goon it. There were a couple of times where he could have just gooned across the jaw for a rear naked choke and started that setup, and he was like, nope, I refuse. Or maybe he felt something that you couldn't see, and he was like, no, if I try to do that.
He wouldn't start throwing the choke over until he had both hooks. He was really diligent about making sure he had both hooks before he would throw. And like we watched it, and I was kind of going, okay,
we were yelling at the TV. We were like,
yelling.
Just start choking him.
Yeah, because
he choke his face.
He looks like he's in a position a bunch of times to throw over. But again, if you have a guy that's really crafty defensively, it kind of does make sense. Can we lock him down, at least get a better shot? Because if he has an avenue to get out, if that hip's open, like you're already having a problem trying to settle him down. Well, if I start choking early, then if he's just going to get out because he's ready for me to do that, maybe the neck is there weirdly as like a bait. And so this was a fun match to watch because we got to ask all of those questions during the match of like, okay, why isn't he throwing it? Oh, maybe because like Stewart's crafty and hard. He really wants to, okay, let me get his back, let me settle him down, let me flatten him or prevent him from moving, and then I only have to worry about the hand fight because this guy is like, I've had a Darce in, he had the rear naked choke in, he had
he went for a leg lock, but the
leg lock wasn't great. He wasn't
clean.
never in a great spot. He kind of was. Max Hansen was clearly up, and I think was just looking like, let me put more offense up. If the leg lock's there, I'll take it, which tactically is what you want to do there. You don't want to just sit. You don't want to sit back and wait for the other guy to get an opportunity. You want to keep on the offensive.
And Shawnee did get on top at one point and like started pushing and going through, but Max was in the driver's seat for the entirety of the match. So, but you know, I'm gonna actually probably go and look up Shawnee and see like other things where he's getting he's got some neat defense. He's got some neat defense. And him surviving them.
This was fun. This was of the matches we watched in the main card here. This is the one that I enjoyed.
That one was like super interesting.
It was super
from a defensive position and just in general.
You also got to see more of Max Hansen's like cycling through his subs, which was nice because a lot of times when he does like the other events, you'll see him kind of blow through guys. So this was nice to see him kind of go to B game, go to A game, go back to A game, and like cycle through,
move around things.
It was good. Best again as we're seeing more and more of Max Hansen now, and who's number one. We're seeing him, always in the finals of big IBJJF events at Black Belt now. It is nice to see kind of more folds and wrinkles of his game, so that we can better understand like when we see him at trials, how he looks at trials, and just understand his game better. So next match we're gonna talk about Brandon Reed versus Philip Geyer. Philippe, dude. Brandon Reed, real big. No real big guy should move that quick.
There's so many big guys that move that quick, though.
This is kind of the new thing.
It's been around.
It hasn't. Back in the
jiu-jitsu, maybe.
But that's what I mean.
But
in jiu-jitsu.
If you want to go to wrestling, look at the heavyweights. Look at Gable Stevenson. Look at Brock Lesnar.
I was gonna say, look at Brock Lesnar.
Steve Mako wasn't like this awesome physique thing, but Steve Mako could move.
And he had that dope foot sweep. I fucking love that foot sweep.
Not a foot sweep. He had them from everywhere.
I've been saying like the foot sweeps of he's one of the few wrestlers that I've actually like studied and man, he's an interesting cat. Foot sweeping dudes everywhere.
But and there's all sorts of things. Or look at Kyle Snyder.
Traditionally in jiu-jitsu,
big guys aren't quick.
The best athletes because they're doing real sports.
Well, we went from like when I started, and you had like the big guys, like Big Mac and things like that.
Even guys like Orlando Sanchez, just guys that were like really big and imposing. It was like
Orlando Sanchez was super explosive.
He used to be little at blue belt. He was smaller.
He was still big, but he was super explosive. But then he got like big.
Yeah, he got like 330 at the last ADCC.
And still tried to explode, but didn't have the gas tank to follow that up. It's a mix. That's the thing. Like a lot of, and I'm blanking on so many of the big heavyweights. But you also had like Marcio Pedapano Cruz. You had, you had Hadra Gracie. You had a lot of people. But now the shift in jiu-jitsu is like all of the ultra heavyweights are absolutely shredded to the gills.
Also in no-gi, especially, like they're just
dudes in the gi, the dudes in no gi. Everybody they just jam. They go. But that's where the meta has shifted to, especially in no-gi. It's like you got to be able to move. If you're just a big dude, that don't cut it anymore because there's another big guy that can run for 10 miles and not think about it and will just push. You have your Nicky Rods.
Teleport to your back wildly and magically.
Do you remember when we covered Nicky Rod originally when he had his ADCC run?
He was a blue belt. I remember his first trials.
The East Coast one or the West Coast one?
The one he didn't win.
The East Coast one.
East Coast one. When it was like, oh, this dude's going to be a pro.
Terrifying.
I think he placed. I think he got second
or
third.
I think it was second.
I think it was second.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this guy's going to be a huge
Terrifying
problem.
And then he
proceeded
was like
to be
cartwheeling
a
over
huge
dudes
problem.
at West Coast.
Yeah.
And then was a
he's-
huge problem at ADCC.
Has been a huge problem ever since.
Yeah.
Brandon Reed takes Philip Geyer's back after Philippe double legs him, doesn't get him over, goes off the edge.
He stops.
And then
Like,
Brandon
he runs
seems
into the crowd
to
and
take
stops.
not take offense to this, but goes,
He's like, okay.
not my house.
He did that little like duck and then did a reach
the
up.
little
and, like,
duck was amazing. So you can break this down better than I can because you have a better understanding of wrestling than I do. It's just basically a duck.
He pump faked. He dropped the knee and made him bite really hard on like, oh, maybe he's gonna double leg, and like he bit real hard in the sense of, you're not going to shoot on my legs.
Yeah, so Philippe like kind of gets low and kind of ducks down.
And Brandon Reed comes up and just like collar ties and like hula hoops himself around to the back to get into the position, and that's where it just started.
The speed that he does this is undeserved for a heavyweight of his size.
You're just mad that people are bigger than you and can
so
move as
mad.
quickly or faster than you
I'm
are.
so mad about this, Josh. You have no idea. I had to coach 2 heavyweights today, and I watched them. I was like, oh, I hate these boys are quick. These guys are
It's a shift.
240, and I went, oh, I do not like how quick these guys are.
Right.
It's
Gone
not,
are the
it just
days.
didn't used to be this way, Josh.
Gone are the days of the 5'8", 300-pound guys, or
Yeah.
the 6'4", 340-pound guys that are just like
just lumbering and
just
big.
lumbering around. Or if you're 6'4" and you're 250 pounds, it's because your whole entire body can touch one end of the gym and then the other.
Yeah.
And
You have traps
normally
for
your
days.
guard player, if that
Victor
these
Hugo.
guys, not even that,
Eric
like again,
Muniz.
Pedapano. Yeah, but now that's who you have is like
I know.
Eric, the Muniz brothers that are like, oh, we're going to play lapel guard and do this other stuff, but we can also just go.
Yeah. So Brandon Reed goes, gets Philippe's back, and
A couple times loses it,
Yeah.
gets that other, like, he gets a takedown, or he gets a mat return right before the rear naked choke where he just, like, he gets behind him, lifts him up, puts him back down, right on the back again, and then finally it's like, okay, and then just jams it through. And I don't know,
really nice rear naked
is
choke.
Brandon a purple or a brown belt?
I think he's still a purple belt. And I think that because I think we did the research prior to CJI 2, and he was a purple belt then. He could be brown belt. I don't think he's a black belt yet. I think he is technically, and that's a very technically, still a purple belt. Again, could be wrong. It's one of those where it's like I could be wrong about it because you watch him and you're like, yeah, been beating black belts, beating black belt champs. Like, could be either way. But yeah, I think he's technically, big quotes there if you listen to the audio, technically still a purple belt. But gets the rear naked choke finish, just stupid quick. Makes me want to go back and watch his match with Nicky Rod because I remember watching that from the stands at CJI 2, and that was like, I remember being really interested from a technical perspective, the way that he kind of forced Nicky Rod to play. I think Nicky Rod was tired in that match, but it was still a very interesting kind of nail-biter match that I remember watching. So
He's a brown belt.
he's a brown belt now. Okay.
Yeah, I was just looking at I was just trying to find something where he was, and he took silver at brown belt nogi pants.
Nogi pants. Okay. So yeah, brown belt now. That somebody we were talking about. I was like, I think that's not correct. Something about that is triggering my brain to go. I'm not sure that's correct. I don't want to speak out of turn. So those are really the matches that we wanted to run through on GrappleFest. Shane Curtis also defeats Max Livingston via decision. Didn't get the goth lock. Always check. Whenever Shane Curtis is on a card, Miranda always checks, and then as a result, I always check to see if he gets it. Because he has a bunch of them on GrappleFest. I think he has at least one. I think he has multiple on GrappleFest.
Somebody in the gym last week was talking about it. It's like, oh, this move, like you just let him come to side control and then you do this thing. I was like, you talking about a buggy choke? And they were like, no, not that. And I was like, what? And it's like something with the arm. I was like, oh, a goth lock? And they were like, yeah, that thing. And they were like, how do you do it? I was like, I don't know.
Dude, you watch him do it and you're like, what I love techniques to this day that you see and then you go, I don't know if I can recreate that.
Not only that, you're like, I'm not doing that. I'm
Yeah.
not built for it. I ain't doing it. When like the buggy choke first came around and people were like, well, why don't you try? I'm like, I'm not built for that. We watched it happen tonight.
Just happened tonight.
And we yelled at the person. We were like, how are you going to do that? It's like,
Because he's built like a guy that should build a buggy choke. And
Yeah.
And he buggy
it
chokes.
sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. My guy got buggy choked today. And then he asked me, he went, hey, what is that? I went, it's a buggy choke. He goes, you've never taught us that. And I went, yeah, I don't think it's real. But occasionally you do get hit with it if you don't know it's there. And that's on me.
Sometimes it do be that way.
And it was just very funny to have like a moment with my student to go like, you never taught us this. And I went, I know, because it's not real, but like if you don't know it's there, yeah, you can get got with it. And I didn't teach it to you, and so you got with it because it is 100% my fault. And usually when you coach, it's as a
all
coach,
you got to do is just buggy lock them
partially your fault. That one, it was like, yep, that was entirely my fault. Because why? Because I didn't prepare you to know that thing could exist.
There's this thing that like
it shouldn't work, but it does work. And so, and it was a good learning one. I haven't been out to coach the club here in a couple of months, so it was nice. It was one of the bigger turnouts we ever had for an event. I think the last one I did was Naga up here in Baltimore, and it was a huge turnout. So it was nice to see kind of the variety of students to coach him again. And it was fun. But I got nothing else on GrappleFest, Josh. Anything else on GrappleFest?
No.
Shorter episode.
Yeah, but you know what is really easy? Pay for the pay-per-view. Watch it.
Yeah.
It's really easy.
It's like $18. It's
I don't know what the pound to dollar rate
I think
now.
it converted. I think it was like 18 something.
I didn't see it convert.
On my Apple, on the pay. It converted
Apple
for
Pay.
me. It told me. It was like, hey, here's some, because I just like clicked. I was like, I'm gonna watch it. It doesn't really it can't be more than $20. We talk about it again. I don't try to buy a lot of pay-per-views.
Oh, it actually might have been cheaper.
But again, I like that they're bringing athletes out, and occasionally you want to support and pay for it. So
yeah, you were right. It's like $18.55.
Yeah, I got the bill.
$1. Yeah, you can't read.
I can't read. I don't read good, Josh. So, again, I like GrappleFest. It's pay-per-view. It's on Glister. I think it has like a 10-day or
14-day.
14-day.
Something like that, yeah.
Replay.
You can watch it a bunch.
Support events that support grapplers. Because, again, it was fun to watch. I have a bunch of other matches now that I'm going to go back and watch kind of in my free time that we're not going to cover on the podcast this week. But
is there
again,
anything, what's coming up next week, Maine?
What is coming up next week, Josh? That's real.
That's what we have to do sometimes when you prep things.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't do that.
Hey, man, it was a busy week of me not fighting. Senior Grappling Worlds is coming up. We may cover that. That is like happening now. U.S. team is out there. Senior U.S. So UWW is always a nightmare for us to cover. Josh and I covered it back in the day, and it is.
Did we?
Yeah, like the first year of the podcast, and like Max when John Hansen goes out because he's the team captain there.
It's technically the 14th.
Well, it's the 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th. It's all days.
It's 14, 15, 16. It's not on the 17th, I don't think.
You're correct. Yeah, so it's day 1, 2, and 3 of Senior Worlds.
But it's at 4:00 in the morning Eastern time.
It is. So those are the big events that we have coming up here. We just had UFC. Really in a couple, we're gonna really start moving into trials coming up.
November's what for?
November is trials.
Yeah, but that's the East Coast one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be the one in
Florida.
In Florida this year, and then the other one potentially could be
even that. Like normally the Brazil ones are super close as well. Go up.
Yep, going up
because the Brazilian
ADCC Brazilian Nationals. So that's
one of the Brazil ones.
That's trials.
I think that's one of the trials, the Sao Paulo one.
Uh-huh.
Unless it's go down further in the. That's an open. So
open. Who's number 130 is in a couple of weeks here. Vancouver. Open.
Oh yeah, that's in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Have we decided are we going to that?
I think we should go. Tickets aren't that expensive. The drive's about 4 or 5 hours.
4.5.
So it's not terrible. I think we were going to go to it and then play D&D the following day, but
yeah,
that'll be a big couple of days. But yeah, I think we're probably going to start getting stuff together here for trials in 2 weeks, and then trials might actually be a much longer. We might actually do a 2-day or a 2-episode trials preview because we're going to have all the registrations for the big divisions, and most of the seeding will be out and through. We'll be able to pull the names.
Are you going to that?
Pull the top guy. I am supposed to, because my parents are down there now, so it should be an easy trip. So that's the goal. I haven't booked flights yet, but again, flights down from BWI to Orlando are usually pretty cheap.
Usually. But what's going on right now?
Yeah, a lot
To
of
where we
stuff.
don't have air traffic control.
Yeah.
So
we'll find out here in a couple of weeks. But Josh, do you have anything else fun? Do you have anything else fun going on? 'Cause we have really nothing else coming up next week. We're gonna play next week by ear very much. We'll probably lean into UWW, pull some of the fun matches from the notable guys for UWW. If you have something you'd like to just have us cover next week, let us know.
Shoot it over.
I need to check the date on Marcelo versus Lachlan because I
I
know
want to
that's.
say November.
I think it's coming up, but I don't think it conflicts with trials. Really, it is December 5th.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little later, but yeah, man, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot else. If you got nothing else, I think we'll call it, and then we'll return next week with more grappling,
stuff to talk about.
more fun grappling stuff. So I was on the show. I'm your host, Maine. My co-host
Josh.
We have the grappling events, and that's what it is. Stay safe. If you like the show, please consider sharing it on Facebook with the folks at your gym. It's the best way that we grow the show, and we really appreciate it. You can reach out to us on email.
We also have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have Google+.
Until that shuts down.
We have a website.
If you have an event you would like to have us cover, please let us know. If you have a name, like most people do, and you'd like to have us stop butchering it,
Let us know.
reach out to us. The show is also available on YouTube, Spotify, in addition to iTunes and every other podcast service. We very much appreciate your time, and thank you.